Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to discussing about the Linux commands which we are using in our daily work. So let's quickly go into the commands. The first command is pwd command. This pwd command is used to find out the working directory which we are at present. It means in which directory we are working. It will show by using pwd command. And the next command is cd command, change directory. So this change directory command, cd command, is used to change the directory from one directory to another directory. So now I'm in home Ubuntu directory. So now I want to change to etc directory /etc directory. So by using the cd command, I can shift to from one directory to another directory. Now I'm in /etc directory. So now I want to come back from one step back to the directory. At the time I'm going to use cd dot command. So if you see here, means now I'm in / directory. So like this I can come back from one step back to the directory. So I want to go to the home directory. By using cd ~, I'm going to the home directory. If you see here, means now I'm in /home/ubuntu. And the next command is list command, ls command. This ls command is used to list the directory contents. It shows the what are the files in this directory and what are the folders in this directory. It will show the entire things. So by using this ls command, we have some flags. By using those flags, we can define the files status. So by using ls-l display one file per line, like this. And the next one is ls-a. ls-a is used to find out the hidden files in the particular working directory. And the next one is ls-l ltr. This lrt, this lrt is used to display the order files based on the last modified time in descending order. If you see here, means we can see in the descending order, the time will show is that. And the next option is ls-l. So ls-l is used to display the entire information of your files, like which user it is created, and what is the size of that user. I mean, what are the size of that file, and which date it's created, which month it's created, which date, and which time it is created. So like this we can see the entire information of the file. By using ll also, we can see the same output with dot files also. I mean, with hidden files also. And the next command is sudo command. This sudo command is one of the most advanced Linux command. While the syntax is basic, but dealing with it is critical, as it requires a root access. Suppose I want to create, suppose I want to shift from one user to another user. At the time I am going to this sudo su-root. Root is the user. So by using this sudo command, we can shift easily from one user to another user without password, because we are giving that root user as we are accessing with administrative permission. It is sudo. And the next command is make directory, mkdir. By using this make directory, we can create the folders or directory. We can call it as folders or directories. So I'm going to create the DevOps directory. Yes. So if you see here, means I have a DevOps directory in my root directory. So I want to check out to that DevOps directory. Means by using cd command I can easily shift it into the DevOps directory. Now I'm in /root DevOps directory. So and the next command is cp command. Cp command is used to copy the files from one location to another location. So for example, I have an example.tat.tz. So now I want to this tat.gz file into etc directory. So before that I want to give which file has to be moved, demo.txt. So I want to move that, copy this demo.txt file into /etc folder. So now I'm going to check in the /etc folder. If you give an ls, I can see the demo.txt file is there here. So like this, by using cp command we can copy the file from one location to another location. It means one directory to another directory. So and the next command is mv command. So by using this mv is move command. By using this move command we can move the files from one location to another location. Sudo mv demo.txt and the location of the directory. So now I want to move from /etc. Okay. So here I have the demo.txt. So by now I want to move this demo.txt into /home/ubuntu. So I want to change to from /etc directory to home ubuntu directory. If you see here means I don't have the demo.txt file, because so by using this move command it's act like as an cut and copy. Now if we check in this home ubuntu directory, we can see the demo.txt, and we can use the move command in two ways. One is for cut and copy purpose, another one is to rename the file names. So now I have this demo.txt file is there. So now I want to change this demo.txt into log.txt. So by using this move command I can change the demo.txt to rock.txt. So like this move command we can use in two ways. One is for the cut and copy, another one is to rename the file. And the next command is ps command. This ps command it's display a process that is currently running on the Linux machine. It means it provides a real-time display, real-time process which are running and active in our system. So for to execute this command we have the flag is there, fnu and the root. So now I want to check the what are the processor active processor in root user. So by using psfnu I can check all the active processes. And the guys next command is curl command. By using this curl command we can download the files or repositories, libraries outside from the server. It means internet from the internet of the server. So now I'm going to, so I have now one example is there, curl http some url output some dot file. So it's downloading the some dot file. So by using curl command insert download, so it's downloading the file. But guys this some.url was not working because it didn't download this some.file. So if you want to download any url, or I mean url with that url has a repository, means by using curl command we can download that repository into our local server. And the next command is cat command. by using cat command we can see the content of the particular files. So now I want to see the content of file1.txt. What is the what is the data in that file? I want to see without entering into that file. So at the time I can use the cat command. By using this cat command I can see the content of the file. The content inside the file1.txt is, this is the Linux basic command used by daily, and this is the demo for Linux command to defer the things in files. So like this we can see the content of the file without entering into the file. Now I want to enter into the file. So by using vi command, vi, we can use vi, vim or nano. By using these three commands we can enter into the any of the command. We can use any of the command on these three. We can enter into the files like this. So now I am going to create a file. So to create a file by using touch command. So another command is touch command. By using this touch command I can create a file. devops.txt. So now I created a new file is chandevops.txt. So now I want to enter into this txt file. By using vi command I can directly enter into the chan.devops.txt file. So you want to enter some data in this file. At the time we need to shift into the insert mode in this editor. So by using I button I am entering into the insert mode, and now I can edit anything in this file. To save this file by using escape shift semicolon with W key, enter. By using this we can save this file, and if you want to see the content of this file means by using cat command we can see the content of the file. And the next command is df command. Guys, this df command is a fundamental command on Linux. Using this df, coders or any developers or any users in this Linux, in our Linux machine, they can it can be display the size and available space and usage space on the file system of the device. So if you enter with df enter, we can see the information of the files, directories and the disks. We can see the usage available and the percentage, how much of percent we use. We can see the entire information of the our disks in our Linux machine. We have some flags for this df command. By using df-a, it includes duplicate and the files that are inaccessible. We can see the information of the entire things in my Linux server. And the another flag is df-x. It exclude the specific file system. So we need to give the specific file system. Then we can see the output for this -x flag. And the next one is df-h. -h is a human readable. It prints the size in the power of megabytes or GBs. See, now that my root directory disk is 7.7 GB and the user is 1.9 GB, available is 5.9 GB. Before we see in the df, before we see this information in kilobytes. And the next one is du command. This du command in your system, you want to check how much of space taken by a file or directory. By using this du command we can check in our local, in our Linux server. So du, so I have now files in this dot files, hidden files. These are the space they taken for that files. So I want to check with we have a flag to check the in kbs, in kilobytes and megabytes and bytes by using flag -h, du-h. See, we can see it in the kilobytes. So guys, I have here file1.txt is there, file2.txt is there. Now I want to see this file size. At the time I'm using the same command du, and the flag is -sh and the file name. So it is the 4 KB, 4 kilobytes. So like this we can see the file size, particular file size, by using du-sh command. So now I want to see this entire files folder size in this directory. So at the time I'm using du-sh star. So we can see the all the files sizes in this directory. And the next command is chmod. Chmod. Guys, before that I have the rock.txt file is there, and chan-devops.txt file is there. So if you see the permission for this chan-devops.txt file is just read write permissions is there. So now I want to give the execution permission for this file. At that time I'm going to use a chmod command. Chmod 777 chan-devops. Now if you see the permission for chan-devops is, you see the execution permission also there. So like that we are using the chmod command. We can change the permission for the files or directories in the Linux server. And the next one is chown command. This command is used to allows it allows the users to change the ownership and the group owner of a particular files. So now I have the files is there, file1, file2.txt, file2.txt file is there. I want to check this file2.txt. This has Ubuntu super user, Ubuntu user permissions. So now I want to change this Ubuntu user to root user permission. So at the time I am going to use chmod chown command. It is Ubuntu. Now I want to change it to the root user file1.txt. If you see here means the file1.txt change the user permission to Ubuntu to root user. Like this we can change the owner permission for particular files or particular directory by using chown command. And the next one is diff command. So by using this diff command we'll compare the data between the two text files and display the difference. So coders can easily work in many ways to customize how the data is displayed by using this diff command. So now I have the files is there. So we can take the file.2.txt and chan-devops.txt. We can see the difference between these two files, chan-devops.txt and file1.txt. Diff. Okay, my typo mistake. diff. See. So in the file1.txt I don't have this JC and some of the content. This content is not there. That's why it's shown you in the less than symbol, because first we given the chan.txt and the next one is file1.txt. It's showing the greater than symbol because we given the second of the path. So it shows the this content of the file. So the main difference is first line and these 3 lines shown here. So like this we can differentiate the content in different files by using the diff command. And the next one is echo command. So I want to added data in chan-devops.txt. So at the time I want to use a vi command. So instead of vi command, I'm going to use the echo command. And I'm giving the matter, hello, this is Linux commands which we are using in our daily work. And how to save this content into this chan.txt. So easy guys, by using double greater than symbol we can give the file name, and easily we can save this file into the chan-devops.txt. So if you check the content in chan-devops.txt by using the cat command, you can see the hello, this is Linux command which are using in our daily work. So by this, without using vi command, we can easily insert the data into the particular files. Actually, this echo command is leveraged to print a string of text passed as an argument to the terminal window. It comes as the built-in command, and it's frequently used get output status text in the shell script. So mostly it's used in the shell script to print the output of the data. By using this echo to print the value of environment variables such as a user and path of a file. We can do this type of activities by using this echo command. And the next one is grep command. By using this grep command, we can find out the files easily. We needed the particular file. Means this grep command is one of the most useful commands on Linux, and its fully form is and the full form of this grep command is global regular expression print. So how can we use this grep command? So guys, I'm going, so now I want here, if I go, I'm going to the etc folder. So here I have number of files and number of directories. So now I want to list out a particular file. So at the time I'm going to use ls. So to list out the files, by using ls we can list out all the files in the directory. Now I want to list out a particular file. At the time I'm going to give ls pipe symbol grep command and any of the file. I can go with kernel. So the kernel file or folder I want to check here. See, I got the output is two outputs I get here. So one is kernel and another one is kernel-img.conf. So with the name of the kernel, I have two files in this directory. So like this we can use the grep command. And the next one is user add. By using this user add command, we can use in the name itself, in the command itself, we can say we can add the users in by using this user add command. So now I'm going to create a user by using user add command with the name of demo. It's created. Now I want to shift this demo user. Before you are going to shifting into the demo user, you have to create a password for this demo user. By using psswd command, I'm going to creating a password this demo. Giving the password is demo@123. Demo@123. You can token multiple error password and change. Oh, okay, it didn't as a password. Demo@123. Demo@123. Now it's updated successfully. Now I want to shift to demo user. It's asking the password demo@123. So guys, now I'm in demo user. Like this we can create a user and give the password for that particular user. If you want to come back to the existing user, means we are going to use exit command. So now I'm in Ubuntu user. So now I don't want this user, Now I want to delete this user by using the command user delete del and the user name. Now we want to shift into demo user. No, user does not exist. By using user delete, we deleted the demo user. And the guys, next command is tar command. This tar command is one of the most useful accounts when it comes to the file management. Using this tar, you can create a archive files that can perform as a storage for multiple files. And these archive files is known as a tarball files. So guys, what it's telling is, so I have now multiple files in this directory. So now I want to mix it into a single folder. So by using tar command, we can do that. We can tarball this all the files into a single file by using tar, and the parameters is there cbf, and the tarball name file dot tar, and the directory home ubuntu. If you see here means I have one tar file1 dot tar. So you want to untar this file dot tar. So by using the same tar command, we can untar this file. So now what I'm doing is I move this file to, because it may be clumsy, home. Okay, permission needed. I want to give sudo slash home. If you see here means I have a file.tar. So I want to untar this file by using tar -xvf file.tar. See, it's untar the file. Now I got the home directory, because we tarred the previously from home directory to ubuntu directory and the file names. In the home I have the ubuntu. In the home ubuntu I have the files. If you check with the pwd, you are in the home directory, and this after that you untar the files. Now you get the home directory, and in the home directory ubuntu directory is this. There in this ubuntu directory I have this all files and directories. So like this we can use the tar command. And the next command is top command. This top command is a task management program that presents a real-time display of your CPU and memory usage of your entire Linux system. It is a simple status summary. So if you see here, the total tasks are running, and how many services are going to the slept, and what are the services are stopped, and what is the used memory, free memory, buffered memory, available memory. See, so now I'm using in the this server is in one user. If I go into the another session, and log into the another session, if you see in the top means, see it's changed to 2 users. So like this we can monitor the entire information of your Linux server. If you want to exit from this means you want to press the Ctrl Z. And the next command is kill command. This kill command offers the liberty to end the process from the command line, and it is useful for those monitoring CPU process, as it makes it is easy to terminate the process without working on it manually. So guys, we see the top command. When in the top command we can see the what is the process ID taking the high CPU or high memory. So you don't want that process ID to run in your local in your Linux machine. So at the time, by using the kill command, we can take that process ID and we are going to kill that process ID in our Linux machine. So we can easily down the CPU usage and or memory usage to stop that particular process ID. And the next command is ping command. So you have an application, you hosted a application. So you want is it working or fine? You want to check it. At the time, ping command is used to check that thing. Check that thing whether your URL is working or not. So now I don't have any URL, so I'm going with google.com. See, it's ping into the google.com. So if you deployed any application and it's up and running, means you can check with that URL also, and it should give the output like this. And the next one is locate command. This locate command is mostly potent and widely used command to search for files is located. The locate command is more powerful and present the result you faster. Because the reason locate command is faster is because it search file through the database opposing to file command which initiates a search through the file system. And this database has bytes of files that result in a almost instantaneously result. It's give a instantaneously result for you while using the locate. So now I want to check whether the Python packages or Python files, Python folder is available or not is there or not in my system. I want to check. So I want to locate those files by using this locate command and the file name. We can check the files and path in my server like this. Python files, Python directory. So like this, by using locate command, you can find out the file name and directory file path and directory path. And the next one is uname. The uname command provides users with the specific information of the Linux. Is it a Linux system or a computer they are using? So now I'm using the Linux system. So it gives me output as Linux. So it is used to check the which OS you are using. And we have some of the flags for this uname. One is uname -a. If you execute this command, you can see this option to see everything like IP address and when it is created and which time it is created and which bit it is, either it is a Linux or Windows. Like this of information we can see by using -a. And the next flag is uname -s. With this option, user can view the kernel information of this server. So the kernel is Linux kernel. So it show the output is Linux. And the next one is, and the next flag is uname -v. This -v option allows one to see the kernel version of the system. See. And the another flag is, and the last flag is uname -r. -r, this -r flags used to see the parameters. Let's one view the kernel release. So this is the kernel release version. So like this uname, we can see the different outputs of our Linux server information. And the next command is uname hostname ctl hostname. By using this hostname command, we can see the name of our server. So this is the name of my Linux server. If you want to see the entire information of your Linux server, means you can go with hostname ctl. Typo hostname ctl. See here, we can see the main information of the server, like host name, icon name, chassis, mission ID, boot ID, virtualization, operating system, kernel, architecture. So this type sorry. So this information we can see by using the hostname ctl command. And the next command is history command. This history command is used to view the commands that a user has inputted previously on the command line. The default limit is for this history command is 500 commands. We can see the history in our Linux server. See, so I used totally 374 commands up to now. So it shows the entire our history information by using the history command. We can see the entire history by using the history command. And the next one is exit command. By using this exit command, suppose I'm in root user. So now I want to exit from this root user. At the time I'm going to press exit. So now I'm in Ubuntu user. By using this exit command, we can exit from anywhere. There are stopped jobs. Exit. See, now I'm exited from my server. So again I'm going to log into my server. So guys, these are the commands which we are using daily in my working area. So guys, hope you understand the video. Please watch and subscribe my channel and click on the bell button for more videos. Thank you.